This is like stigmata, but
Yeah.
with anthro
Just
blood.
think of that. Like me getting a visit from Jesus with the stigmatas because I've been talking about heaven too much and too openly and contacting the Amar angels and Khalid angels too openly about God and love.
Yeah.
And they've been giving me discord, so I'm like getting it healed by seeing the stigmata Jesus, you know what I mean? I was just thinking
yeah.
that, and then you say, these are like stigmata, and I'm like, nice. Freaking control freaks, you know what I mean?
Is that strong? That's totally possible? Two partners, one feels something so strongly it manifests in the other person.
Uh-huh. Rocks in the water is what I'm getting.
I saw before gold in the water, and they use electricity to generate a field, and that's energy. That's how they generate energy or something. A gold in the water, a gold spiral in the water.
Uh-huh. Could have to do with their very advanced fission technology. Some kind of gold fission. I feel like I'm having a discussion about the various angels with the various angels, and Khalid's love is like filling my field. I feel that. His love filling my field.
It's interesting that these bleeding happened just a few hours after I asked to see anthro blood.
Uh-huh. That's interesting. I didn't hear you say that you want to see it. That's interesting if you thought about it. Didn't get it, John. It was pretty fast. Probably gonna be able to smoke today and tomorrow, then I run out, and then I'm gonna have to go through withdrawal, but it shouldn't be too hard, especially with this level of angelic help.
Have you seen the video clip of Jesus? He touches a glass of water, he turns it to wine, turns it. His friends have glasses of water.
Yeah.
He turns theirs to wine, turns theirs to wine, but he accidentally then touches the guy's hand and turns all the guy's water in his body to wine, and then the guy dies.
I haven't seen that. You've probably seen the one where Jesus goes into the bar and orders like 10 cups of water and turns them all into alcohol, and it's like, this is so much cheaper.
Yeah.
Hands them out to his friends. I'm not a fan of Jesus. I tend to get into a lot of trouble with him when I summon him. He tends to be very strong in his opinion, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
I prefer somebody soft like Novelist or like Amar, you know what I mean? Instead of somebody harsh like Jesus or Michael. But I do like understand how he became such a powerful God being. But I do tend to get into trouble with him when I summon him. I'm gonna have to go to the spirit convention this year and ask for them to take a picture of my aura with that aura camera thing.
The Corellian photography?
No, it's just the normal aura camera. It's like takes a picture of your aura with like on your body. It's not like a Corellian photograph, and I'm gonna have to get an interpretation.
Are you gonna focus on something when they take it or not?
Probably gonna go with have I developed.
When you said have you developed, I in my mind saw you with a gold aura.
Okay, that's nice.
I can't see auras directly, but I can in my mind, I think.
That's aura sight, you're getting good at it. Your spiritual gifts are definitely developing in a good way. Before I leave, we gotta test you giving me a healing, you know?
Do I need to read or do I just do it?
Hold your hands on the chakra spots. I'm gonna teach them to you when we do it, and just like focus on healing. I'm gonna give you specific advices based on how I feel your energy flowing.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you what I feel the blockages are and what you can do to work on it and so on. But we need to do that, and I probably need to do a healing on you as well.
Okay.
We could probably stand to do one more meditation as well. Which would you prefer, the 5 elements meditation or the ego meditation?
They're both intense, aren't they?
They're both intense.
But the 5 elements, you have to take a hot and cold shower.
Yeah, that's very intense. That's very intense.
I don't know.
We don't have to do either one if you feel uncomfortable with it.
They may be a little too intense for me.
Yeah. The 5 elements meditation is probably intense in the short term, and the ego meditation is probably intense in the long term. the 5 elements meditation is probably harder to do. We need like a good clean space where people won't bother us, and we need to do the shower thing there. And the ego meditation can be done in your room, and they're both pretty intense. A mosquito just bit me, but I didn't get it. They're in no way mandatory. No way mandatory. And even doing the healings and receiving the healings is only available if you feel like it's a good idea. I won't do it if you feel like it's a bad idea.
The healings will probably be good.
Yeah.
Wow, that hawk went like 2 feet from the ground.
Yeah, I just noticed the same thing. I noticed a shadow passing over. I was like, what was that? And I looked in that direction and thought it was like a hummingbird or something small, but it was probably a hawk. Not all winged beasts are messengers, but they sometimes are.
This one in this is splotch here of the anthro blood. In with the eye, it looks like anthro dark, but with the camera, it looks like human blood. It's lighter on the camera. What was that?
A crow. An animal that looks like swan, but isn't a swan, and flies. It's something like a crow. It's not a crow, but crane, I think, is the word.
And not an ibis.
I have no idea, but it sounds like a crane. I've never heard of an ibis, I think. I think I've heard of it like at some place, but can't identify the animal.
Yeah.
It sounded like a crane to me. It's definitely connected with what I'm thinking of. I'm thinking about spiritual
Maybe
matters.
think of crane flies or those giant mosquitoes. They look like giant mosquitoes that are like that big, 2 inches long.
Yeah.
But those are not mosquitoes, they're crane flies.
Nice.
I would love it if I could manifest some anthro fur or something, to find a piece of blue fur somewhere. That would be...
Yeah. I'm gonna find you a piece of anthro fur from this trash can when I put one of those huge fur balls that Loki had, and I put it here. And I'm gonna give it to you as anthro fur. There you go. That's your ball of anthro fur. It's not always that distant, you know, man. Loki transforms into your anthro and goes like, "Good of you to finally see me, master." Not really.
But he's neutered, so that wouldn't be fair.
Yeah, I don't really think Loki is your anthro. Like, to be honest, I feel they're completely different beings.
Loki's a marshmallow to me. He's not like dominating.
Yeah, he's a marshmallow. Your anthro is definitely like dominating, sexual compared to your dog. You should probably cover all the stuff on the back of the truck with the tarp properly when you're not working on it, in case it rains and it all gets damaged, you know?
Yeah.
You should probably do that at some point. Anthro, you love an anthro. In a way, Skald is also an anthro in that she is anthropomorphized from a thing that's not essentially human, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But in the goddess mythology of the Norse creatures, she's actually a goddess, like an old woman spinning yarn, and the yarn contains the fate of all creatures in existence. And the three Norns are the only beings that all the gods are afraid of. Not perhaps all of them, but even the gods are afraid of them because they know fate. And so it's not really an anthro, but I do feel like in a way that she is.
In his aura, I see a green on the right and a yellow on the left. Green and yellow aura. There's not a lot of, but isn't sexual orange, or can sexual be yellow?
Orange, red, and yellow is usually the basic colors associated with sexuality. Brown is usually associated with the root chakra.
Oh.
And red is sometimes associated with the root chakra, but most often associated with the sexuality chakra.
And green is the love, isn't it?
Usually. Yellow is usually interactions, and the more golden it is, the more divine those interactions are, or like relating to the divine. And the more the color yellow it is, the more mundane those interactions are, usually speaking.
Yeah, this is like a cartoony yellow.
That's humane and interactions, you could call it, not human interactions. So you saw my aura as bright gold.
Not bright glowy. kind of golden with like backlit, like
Yeah.
slightly backlit.
Yeah, that I feel as well. Did you see any other colors?
Kind of white and black spinning discs or blades or something, white and black
Yeah.
in the field spinning.
Yeah. Those feel like my thoughts disintegrating other thoughts and building other thoughts. You know, my very like active mind and the interactions with Khalid. It's what I feel like those two signify. Could be wrong, but I feel like those are what it signifies.
My aura is very blue because I guess I don't know, because
You-
he's blue or something. I'm not sure.
You're using a lot of psychic abilities to see in the astral. It turns you blue. Thus the Cyan name. Did you listen to the science theme I linked from Final Fantasy VI? I have no recollection of where I linked it.
I may have. If you told me to listen to it, I probably did.
Yeah.
Or if you asked me to.
Let's go inside. It's been a good recording. Bye, everyone.
This is dried and it's turned brown. Blood turns brown when it dries, and it's still darker over at the anthro side.
I'm getting the distinct impression that Khalid and Skald are on the verge of attacking Michael on my behalf. And Michael is experiencing very strong pain flares that keep transferring all the way to like his disconnected servitors, because I can't really explain all of it, but some of the abuse that I suffered was clearly Michael stepping on Faith. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
It was clearly Michael stepping on Faith, and they're like upset about the fact that the angels seem to be preventing me from having physical contact with volunteers that are adults like Skald. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Because she's 22 right now. She's not like 5. You know what I mean? And they seem to be very upset that the angels didn't immediately, when they realized that that I had a crush on Skald and she turned 18, like arrange for us to meet, or at least like get out of the way. You know what I mean? They're very upset about that, and they're like offended even by Michael's actions, and they're talking about how like the power of faith is greater than the power of of war, because faith extends to the 8th density while war ends at the end of 4th density. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Archangel Michael is the Archangel of war, and the whole thing is starting to look a little ugly, but I keep calming the Khalid and Skald supporters down and keep explaining to them that it's just like that they have to wait, that I'm like not in a proper mind place to take the situation, it seems, according to like Michael's understanding. And they talk like loudly on the music that I'm listening to about the various things, and it's interesting listening to them, because they're like they're so loving in the whole like we should have immediately helped you more after the abuse and not let like Michael have any influence on you and things like that. That we shouldn't have allowed Michael to try to redeem himself after hurting you and things like that. And it's interesting because it sounds like the angels themselves are pissed off at Michael, and it's very interesting. Sorry.
In the movie Stigmata, it's caused by an intense. They say it's usually caused by an intense devotion to God.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe my devotion to the Anthros has caused this. I don't know.
Or your devotion to the Anthro has caused God to become attracted to you, and that's causing the Stigmata, but not the Anthro himself. Even though it comes from the Anthro, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but it's not traditional Stigmata like in the hands or.
Mm-hmm. But it's clearly Stigmata. I'm making a blend of these oils, so I'll have more. Trying to conserve. I'm using the black oil as well, even though it gives me a headache. I'm using it as well.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be taking aspirin instead of trying to cope with it, so I'll be able to smoke a little bit more. I hope this works well for me. But it's very encouraging to have like an archangel on your side, literally like an inch away from like completely railing on another archangel on your favor, you know what I mean? Even if after like all the dark shit that I've done in the past few years, you know, trying to assassinate people for real, doing like acts of terrorism, all kinds of weird stupid shit, there's still like an archangel that's going to like rail on another archangel in my favor. They don't forget you, you know what I mean? They still like think that they're doing their service when they're helping you. And I feel like the archangels as a community are balancing my energy so quickly that I will not feel like I will get worse over a long period of time. So if I do something wrong, I will get like an immediate reaction instead of having to wait for it for years and like worry about going to prison, because that would be torture for me, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That I instantly feel like they've balanced it. And that's like the thing I'm most grateful for. They're like beckoning me to come down back to the physical and end my master's game and switch over to a multi-party system and go back to sleep. They're like literally beckoning me over to do that. It's very interesting. Very bright, almost full moon. It's a very interesting feeling to have an archangel in your corner.
That would be something if my intense devotion and I started growing some fur or something, you know.
Yeah, wings.
What?
Angel wings. That would be so weird. You haven't read the Warhammer storyline I posted yet?
No, no, I don't think so.
Okay. Just realized that there's a reference to the Ark of the Covenant in it in a way that I didn't understand when I was writing it, and there's clearly a reference to it in it.
I've been seeking this anthro for 3 weeks, has it? Or not that long?
3 or 4, around 3 or 4.
If it's 4 weeks, that's, and every day pretty much, so that's 7. How many hours a day probably do I put into it?
Many.
So I've hit 100 hours, haven't I?
Something along that line. Just 100 times more and you'll be an expert on the anthro.
Yeah.
You have proceeded 1%. I'm like the voice of reason here. Going like, Sonny, 100 times more and you'll be an expert.
Have you seen that video, Debt Satan Club?
No.
It's Swedish.
Uh-huh.
They're like, Jesus, they're like, Christians love seeing Jesus in painful positions. We make you uncomfortable by showing you Jesus in comfortable positions, like reclining on a Chase lounge. I gotta find that. I gotta link that to you on the chat box. It's fun. It's short, but it's funny.
Yeah.
I can put it in the funny videos.
Yeah. That's probably the proper place for it. I still have the voiceover Lord of the Rings in my tab and I haven't watched it. I'm like, you know what I mean? I want to watch it, but I just don't feel like ruining my experience with Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, it's about everything is smelly.
Yeah. Have you seen the spoof with Jack Black?
No.
Where he, okay. He, like the night before the meeting at Rivendell, he gets a piercing on his ding dong and puts the ring there.
I think I saw that.
Yeah, and the guys are like, oh. You have my ex, dude, put down the X. That was really funny.
I'm definitely taking on the anthro energies, so they're transforming me or something.
Mm-hmm. Wouldn't it be weird if you started growing like purple wings or something very Slaneshian because of this? Your skin started to turn purple and you developed claws or something.
A lot of people, if they started bleeding or something like that, it might freak them out, wouldn't it?
Yeah, for a lot of people.
Your aura is kind of more peach now.
Nice. Peach colored?
Yeah.
Okay. Isn't that like kind of orange and yellow, or am I thinking of the wrong fruit? Red, orange, yellow, purple.
No, it's
The little fruit with the butt crack.
it's like a pale brass.
Isn't it like the little fruit with the butt
Yeah.
crack? Yeah, I know what you mean. It's like...
But you're like the lighter parts of it,
Okay.
not the reddish.
Okay. Interesting. I do feel like my lower levels are being healed by Khalid. The name was what was the name of that angel? Khalid?
Khalid.
Khalid. There we go. Khalid is a race in Morrowind.
I've got turquoise in mine.
You're getting very good at picking up energies. That's clearly the energy of both perversion and opening up of spiritual abilities for the sake of love and Slaanesh. Those energies I'm picking up from you in like the region you specified as being purple or purplish or whatever. Your aura detection ability is definitely good by now. It only took like a few months. I feel like I may be getting a ban from Bringforth because I posted on the thread with the storyline and I just said, did anybody else notice that I was describing the Ark of the Covenant at one point?
Oh.
And because they have to like read my post before they are allowed online, they're probably gonna read the story and go like, naked boys and angel wings ban.
You figure out yet what title you're gonna give me?
Haven't figured it out yet. Resident Sniffer. Commander in Sniffer.
I see peach as a slightly yellowish tan.
Okay.
That was kind of what I was trying to get at. I like that video you posted with the guy in the red shirt, singing.
Yeah. Do re mi fa sol la sol. Do re mi. They're genetically modified people, and they're like kind of a little loopy, and they're very funny. There was another one that was even better, but the singing part is really good. When they're masquerading Starfleet officers,
Yeah.
and they like manage to travel across the galaxy and get to the station where the other guys are, and the guys ask them how they did it, and one of the mutants wore the guy with the fluffy hair that you mentioned wore like an admiral's uniform, and anytime somebody asked him something, he very authoritatively said, "That's a stupid question." That was enough to get across the galaxy. That was very funny. That's a stupid question. Why don't you have tickets for the ship? That's a stupid question. It worked very well for them. They made it all the way to the center. There's also a few other good singing things. I talk a fair bit about the Star Trek mutants in the current Today's Flight. I have a fair bit of information about them on there in the videos.
So we only have like 2 more weeks.
Yeah. Time has really flown by. I'm gonna miss you, man.
Yeah, I'll miss you too. If I do go to Finland to visit, I'll probably have to get taxis or whatever instead of driving.
Yeah, but we'll go through public transportation.
I won't be able to
Trains and
drive
such.
though. I don't have an international driver's license.
Yeah. If you ever do come, we'll use things like buses and trains. But that does require that I get my own apartment and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's not an impossibility. I've had my own apartment before. But we'll see what the future brings.
I asked my guides what I was doing the flight with the music.
Yeah.
I asked my guide what they thought about me and the Santos relationship, and that song that came up was "Only Time" by Enya.
Nice.
So it's like time will tell. I haven't felt him rest in the past couple days. Maybe I just missed it.
No, I feel like he's been up for a while now too. Getting a strong sense of tiredness from him.
This connection's knocking me out again.
Me too, with Khalid.
Oh.
I'm going like, and then I'm waking up again. I'm getting like a really strong angelic conversation with so much detail that there's no way I'll be able to explain it all. Like all the surrounding things in the background become part of the conversation, and symphony sings. It was beautiful. They even explained why Chernobyl has a specific effect on the soul.
Mine's not complicated at all. I'm just rubbing his back.
Nice.
You remember when I looked up Ray Fumois on Google Images and I found that Asian guy?
Yeah, I noticed the same thing.
He's 22, like your skull person.
Yeah, nice. That's a very nice coincidence. This oil is definitely making me cough like crazy. The oil-based CBD instead of the flower-based CBD.
Yeah.
Making me cough like crazy. I'm about ready to go inside. I want to cough no more.
Your lungs are burning?
Yeah, I don't like this.
49 minutes.
Okay.
I was just saying I switched from that blue wolf anthro to a gummy bear, which is a lot lighter and funner energy. Not like it's not a joker anymore.
Yeah. Jokers are hard personalities to be with. They require a lot of work. And I was just remarking that this will be very quiet, but we'll record it anyway. It'll be a quiet session, mostly background of animals.
Did you see my post with the 20 different games?
I haven't seen it yet. I'm still doing my flight.
Oh.
I'm gonna check it out soon. Did you post it in your own thread or the Anthromate thread?
No, in my own, in a new thread in general.
Okay.
Under Anthro Games.
Did you notice Bring Forth has like 5 posts a day now?
Yeah.
It's gone quiet. Hopefully they'll be able to survive the change, but we'll see. There's also a thunderstorm nearby, so we'll see occasional flashes of light. You feel like doing neither of those 2 meditations that I offered? They both seem too hard on you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just the intent to switch personalities or switch energies it's really strong on my chakras. It's wearing them out, kind of.
Yeah.
I'm not even mentally doing a lot of focusing or anything. It's just
Yeah.
I put in the intention to shift energies, and it went on automatic. And
Yeah. I'm gonna squirt one more of the bright yellow thing into the bottle with the mix of the black and the yellow, and then I'm gonna be done with the yellow and probably use the black only as a sublingual thing.
yeah,
Instead of smoking it. The black thing, when smoked, gives me a headache, but I can probably use it sublingually to get the small effect. I need to check when assembly is held this year and at what facility. I need to check that, so I'll be better able to pay you back in case it's not at the Heartwall Arena. Ooh, very bright lightning. Very good timing. The check for the 400 should come in, I would estimate, 2 weeks. 17th of 7th, which is like 5 days away.
yeah.
I'll be able to send the second package. It should have around 350. And if my math isn't completely off, the next one should be 450, and then I should be covering all.
All right, yeah.
That sounds about right. This smoking this oil thing is giving me a huge cough. But such is withdrawal. Very bright flash.
if I start focusing on anthro games going forward, they're going to be different now.
What do you mean?
Because they're more of this gummy bear world instead of...
Yeah. There's gonna be a small difference, but it shouldn't affect the interaction that much. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It should affect it, but there shouldn't be like a completely ruinous effect on the previous relationship. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
I need to watch the Hunger Game movies eventually. They seem to be like a part of the culture in a way that they should be seen. Still haven't watched movies like Schindler's List or Malcolm X or, you know, weird things like that.
Should I disconnect from the old energies or not?
I'd allow it to merge on its own. I wouldn't be so eager to disconnect.
Yeah.
Despite needing a new energy for your interaction, I would still honor and like pay homage to the anthro as a continuation of those energies that were there before instead of a new anthro.
Yeah.
I feel like I want to do the Masters thing fairly soon, send the two companies the video of what's wrong with Steam and the diagnostic things, because we need to reinstall the game before I can do that, and it's gonna take some time, and I don't want to like miss the window, you know what I mean?
You don't want to what?
I don't want to miss the window of doing those things at their proper time.
Yeah.
start taking my meds soon. I think it's about a week until I return to Finland.
2 weeks.
In about a week, I'll start to take them again.
All right.
I'll be a real zombie for the remaining week, but it's acceptable. I'll probably sleep about 2/3 of the time because those pills are so hard. And the dosage is huge. You're on 4 and you had like a trying to kill like people around you episode, and I had a feeling of walls melting because I'm too tired and exhausted, and I got on a 6th dose. It's really weird. It put me in a really high dose.
This might be the last recording tonight that I do because I'm
Yeah.
really tired.
Same here. I don't feel like doing many more today. It's possible, but it feels a little unlikely. At least we put the tarp on the car so the stuff shouldn't fly away and get like destroyed in the rain.
Are you gonna put up your block again so I won't even feel comfortable like sitting in the recliner?
I don't know. It depends. I was a little anxious yesterday because of the death threat, so I put up quite a heavy defense. I may put a lighter one today. I would estimate that almost anyone would have felt uncomfortable approaching me when I slept yesterday. Quite a deep rumble. Yeah, I'm ready to go inside. That wasn't a very long session, but it was okay.
21 minutes.
Okay, bye everyone.